All right. Hi, looks like we got Robbie came in, and I think that's Igor and Tiano. You guys are all here. Everyone's got mic and everything. How's it going?
Good, thank you.
It's going well.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, guys. Hello and welcome to Connect.Club at United Metaverse by Connect.Club. We contribute to the metaverse future by sharing our knowledge, observations, and insights to help people and businesses develop a strategy for the metaverse. To join the United Metaverse Club, click on my profile and there you will find the link. Once you've joined, hit the bell button on the next event so you can be notified of our next Connect Club. There are a few guidelines while attending a Connect Club event. During the panel, please stay off the stage. You can enjoy the area with the blue chairs. Those that do hop on stage will be sent back to the audience area. After the speakers panel, we will open up the stage for the Q&A. At that time, the audience can join the stage to ask questions, but we'll keep it to about 10 at a time. We encourage you to fill in your profile to help others get to know you. Do this by clicking on your avatar in the right top corner of the screen. To view the profiles of other people in the room, simply click on them and their profile will come up. To move about the room, tap on the space in the room you want to be in. You can also zoom in and out of areas on the screen to get a better view of who's speaking or those in your area. Also, we'd like to invite you all to join the Connect Club Discord channel. You'll find a link in my profile. Okay, on to today's discussion. The world witnessed the power of virtual technologies and the chaos resulting from a global pandemic. New platforms served primary functions for communication and working scenarios. For instance, Metaverse as virtual world concept introduced people to a new way of communicating and exploring the latest digital opportunities. Some people wonder what it's like buying stuff in the Metaverse and what wallets help users manage ownership and control over assets and trade. In this section, we will explore and talk about the Metaverse economy, types of wallets in the virtual world, and what you need to dive into the Metaverse. We have an all-star panel here for you today. We're going to have each of you introduce yourselves. Let's start with Anne-Christine Paulette, head of Hatch and Stitch. Go ahead and give us your introduction.
Hey, so thanks. My name is AC. I lead a startup indeed called Stitch. What we do is we're very Web 2. We help fashion brands to digitize the physical creation and physical sales process. And by doing the way that we do that is we help them to actually create in 3D, which especially with Web 3 coming up, the need for digital garments is increasing. The brands don't really know how to handle that yet. It takes a lot of work, so we help them to scale 3D design and also help big brands like Tommy, Calvin Klein, Havaianas to help them sell B2B in a digital way. So without needing physical protos or samples in between.
Amazing, impressive. Okay, Layla, founder of onandco.io, a fintech platform digitizing alternative investments, and founder of All Star Women NFT. Let's hear from you and get a quick introduction.
Hi, thank you so much, and it's nice to meet everyone. And my name is Layla Hurstel, and I'm a tech entrepreneur. And I'm passionate about Web3 and founded my first fintech platform, as you mentioned, On&Co, which uses the blockchain technology to digitize alternative investments. And I then founded the All Stars Women NFT Club and DAO, which is improve the funding gap for women by shaping a more diverse and inclusive entrepreneurial ecosystem. And in parallel to that, I'm the shareholder and partner at Versus State, which is one of the first hyper-realistic metaverses that integrates NFTs, gaming, and the blockchain solutions into one single ecosystem in virtual reality. Well, yeah, that's me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, let's go on to Timothy McLeod. He's the previous leader of product marketing for EA, Adobe, and much more. And he spent the last 4 years launching all sorts of crypto and metaverse projects. Of those shopping in the metaverse, 70% converted to a purchase. What does shopping in the metaverse look like now for people that don't know? Let's start with anyone that wants to take this. Anne.
Yeah, so it's funny. Just yesterday I was speaking to someone about how brands, like the bigger brands, if you speak about fashion brands, what kind of behavior they show in the metaverse and how they like bring certain goods to be able to purchase a couple weeks ago when there was the fashion week in Decentraland. I think most of the fashion brands that were showing there actually sold their physical goods, which I would actually be curious to hear everyone's opinion on. Is like, when you're in a digital fashion week, when you're doing something that should these brands even be selling physical goods, or did they completely miss the boat and miss an opportunity to actually sell digital goods? And I think that there's a really great opportunity for fashion brands to increasingly start selling digital products. But right now the mentality is more like, yeah, we know the physical side, so we created this like digital space and we put some physical products in there.
Interesting. Okay, so I think I saw your post on LinkedIn. That was funny, by the way. But yeah, that's an interesting take, because, you know, are they going into the metaverse just to get people back out and shop in their physical world? But yeah. Okay, anyone else want to jump in on this?
Yes, I can share something. I think that the metaverse exists for more than 5 years, maybe more. It comes with games from Fortnite, social networks like Instagram or whatever. That's why we buy stuff. And I think it's to empowering creators that are creators. That's why metaverse is connected through blockchain. So I think that, for example, from Fortnite, when they sold the $20 million on 2 days with the Travis Scott show, where we inspired to build our own world, from moments like on the Decentraland, as Aini shared to us, I think that everything will be connected at least with the blockchain technology, because empowers. That's why metaverse is exploding right now, because we are right now facing the opportunity to help people that social networks were exploding, were using them. So that's my concern about buying stuff in the metaverse. We are empowering.
Interesting. Yeah, it's empowering probably just a new generation of creators, plus the smaller brands that might have a chance to beat the bigger brands to the punch if they do it right. Go ahead.
Related to Annie, also some investigation around the creators. We're doing like five interviews per week. Is something like a KPI, a must. And they say they want to connect through physical perks. So it's quite a little bit necessary to build trust around like the digital world connected to the physical. But at least I think it depends on the final users, because maybe some millennials, centennial, or maybe earlier younger people don't understand the physical side of buying something in the metaverse for the physical. They only need some digital side because they live in the digital, in the metaverse. So I think it's a point of users, final users. Brands things for adults, and games things for younger people, I think.
Right. Let's let's go ahead.
I was gonna just mention, I wonder too if this, a lot of this is follows an adoption curve that everybody goes through, not only users, but also probably brands and companies. And so I think kind of that intermediary step, which is getting into the metaverse, doing what I know, which is selling physical goods. And then ideally, as I start to feel comfortable with this new model and this new economy, then as a brand or a company, then I can maybe begin to offer both as the next step. And then finally, maybe it's just purely digital. So I think maybe it follows a lot of the same adoption curve that we see with users who come into the metaverse and familiarize themselves with this new technology.
I agree. And then we have that problem too of the anonymous crypto culture. How do they come in and then tie their name and address to get a physical product shipped to their anonymous online, crypto world profile? I think those are things that are going to have to be worked out soon. Yeah, Robbie, what's your take on shopping in the metaverse? What does it look like now?
So I think at the moment it's primarily virtual. NFTs obviously have been on people's minds for the last couple of years. But I think that if you're thinking about physical world consumer brands and how they address audiences in the metaverse, I think it's just really about trying to understand your customer base and what resonates with them. And so we need to be specifically physical or virtual, in my opinion, but it has to be on brand. I think that's more important. And you have to think about what is the culture of your demographic who is discovering you in that environment, and how do you want to communicate with them in that environment. So you have to think about it like, if you're thinking about it from a traditional brand perspective, it's a brand activation. Who's in the metaverse space? What do they want? What are they interested in? And how are you going to give them a message that doesn't feel false, because you're not really being true to the spirit of the venue? And I think that's one thing that we see a lot of in Web3, because it's very much built around communities. And so the communities tend to have strong reactions to people who they feel are, you know, not in keeping with the spirit of the community.
Interesting take on it. Yes, brand activation is a good point, and having users and brands come in and know that the audience is still the same audience, whether we're in the physical or digital world. Thank you. Leila, did you have a...
Yeah, sorry. So I just wanted to add, I agree with all of your points that everyone has so far represent. There's going to be self-expression of the avatars. More people are gonna spend to like events and even work. So I think that's also partly why many fashion brands are looking for ways to get involved in the metaverse, in order with their customers. And even many of them, like such as Tommy Hilfiger, Dolce & Gabbana, like the fashion week in Decentraland, where the NFTs using the platform, which I think is really and yeah, it's all about brand storytelling, and consumer engagement are two of the most important of an effective market strategy. And I think also the fact that the holder of an NFT can sell it and then transfer ownership to someone else means that it's like an investment, and it's in the holder's best interest for the brand to grow, in turns the loyal customers into like brand ambassadors, essentially. Yeah,
That's a good point, bringing up the brand ambassador. Decentraland recently stores or experiences that you can't go in without the NFT access pass, right? So it's sort of carryover access passes, these sort of brand ambassadors. But yeah, that's another interesting thing, the physical bring in and take from once they enter the metaverse. Before we go on to more goals and stuff like that, let's talk wallets. So if someone's exploring the metaverse for the first time, what wallet do they need of the future? And with ETH gas prices like causing regular microtransactions, transaction fees, let's just explore wallets for a minute. And Igor, I want to start with you about shopping in the metaverse. Let's tell us what is needed in Connect. What is it like?
We have tested stability MetaMask. I know it's and how I can see it's popular and MetaMask step by step staying more popular as a connection wallet, like wallet for authorization in different places. But not only MetaMask, sometimes people used other wallets, working with APIs. Yeah, not all wallets can work for it. It's, most wallets cannot.
Yeah, MetaMask seems to be the go-to for most platforms, but I'm interested to see what's going to happen with that in the future, especially since I know there was some news recently about MetaMask and keys being uploaded to the cloud or something like that. I have no idea if that was true or not, but Tano, I'm going to throw this one at you. Yep. Tell us about Muse Your World and wallets.
Cool. In our investigations, we understood that wallets are the biggest friction it's where you can lose some users. So we really push it away, like the more away possible, the wallet integration, because was of course is the final step for empowering, because we need to connect to blockchain. But like we are onboarding non-native blockchain people, like streamers, influencers, TikToks guys, you know, all that. They didn't really know, and they really scared when they saw something that they don't understand. So I think that wallets have to really improve. I saw some solutions for like single sign-on, and after that they create for you a wallet, something like that. It's something that it's a lot, because we are a wallet in the Web3. We're more a user from the Google or Facebook or similar. So might be usually a little bit that friction. Of course, same trend is onboarding with single. So I talked with to remember the name, and there is like 90% traffics to their landing. You know, first touch with the Web3 is by the single sign-on. Like everybody is onboarding like this. I don't really like it, but it's a way to mainstream Web3. You know, so I think that, yeah, that's all. And also connected to wallets, and also to NFTs. We are a wallet, and like identities are unique and NFTs are unique in math. If that's happened, we can be NFTs also. Our identity can be an NFT. So our identity can also be a wallet. That's the power of blockchain. And looking forward. What do you think?
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, no, that's excellent. Robbie, what should we know about wallets and gaming? What's going on with that?
So I think, I mean, MetaMask still continues to be the most popular choice, but I think a lot of bigger game projects are also developing their own custodial wallet solutions, just as a way to kind of handhold users in the user onboarding process, because they want to make it as frictionless as possible. I think for those of us who are accustomed to working on mobile games, particularly, we've become used to, you know, the world's most seamless onboarding experience, and so it sets an unreasonably high bar, I think, for a decentralized ecosystem, because when you don't have, you know, one single behemoth controlling the platform, there are going to be difficulties of interoperability and getting stuff to work without a few more clicks on your screen, so to speak. But I think that the wallet space itself, considering it from an investment standpoint, is still a relatively, you know, open space, and there continues to be innovation and new products coming to market, and people vying for market share and based on their own innovations, which I think is great.
Timothy, do you have anything to add to that? Gaming, wallets?
Yeah, I mean, I just 2 points. I think what Tano mentioned too about single sign-on is interesting, because and Robbie just mentioned mobile. You know, a data point, you know, rough data point from way back when in mobile, when we went from, you know, just a normal sign-on into a mobile game or a mobile app into social sign-on, you know, conversion rates jumped significantly. And I want to just throw out there, maybe like from 25-30% to, you know, 65-70%. This is just aggregated or overall. So I think, you know, following some of those same trends in the metaverse, you know, hopefully, you know, single sign-on. But I think what's even more interesting is when we think of, you know, especially you have a headset. And so I think in the maybe distant future, maybe not so distant, there will be, you know, biometric opportunities, right? So retina scan, some of the things that are probably, you know, you don't want to mention in most forums, but I'd say if there's something, even an NFT, I think Tano mentioned that NFT is, you know, you become an NFT, and right now you can build an avatar. I think it's a hologram.xyz is a company that can, you know, build an NFT into an avatar, right? And so that maybe that's your form of identity that allows a more seamless wallet experience.
Interesting. Yeah, the single sign-on thing seems to be something that, like Tana was saying, is going to make creators outside the space feel more comfortable coming in. Anne, what's your take on that? What's the fashion world going to think about wallets or expect from wallets?
Oh man, the fashion world, their minds are going to be blown. In terms of consumer, it's definitely friction because an average fashion consumer, yeah, I mean, a lot of people still shop in just normal stores, and like that, like e-com is already like a big next step. So setting up a wallet, that will definitely cause a lot of friction. But at the same time, I really do think that, you know, what you say, like you are identified as a wallet, that really changes the relationship that brands have with their consumers. So in a future perspective, I'm really bullish on this because I think that could really reinvent how fashion brands conduct their CRM programs, for example, and how they build relationships. So the consumer, especially from an experience, it's going to have to be reduced into mass adoption. But for the fashion, it is something that they really need to start learning because it could absolutely change how they build really true relationships. Imagine, you know, especially, you know, amazing brands like Nike, what they're doing with Artifact, but imagine if they go a step further and you're able to say, go on Nike.com, I log in with my MetaMask, I bought a shoe, maybe I get rewarded for that in the form of an NFT. And so that is like a whole new realm of customer relationship that could be really exciting.
Absolutely.
I agree. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how fashion comes in, since it's already coming in as one of the first, alongside gaming, things to buy and do in the metaverse. Layla, do you have something to add with that conversation with us?
I think that some of the most important factors actually for identifying the best wallets are credibility, security, and an easy user experience. As well, compatibility with multiple platforms and cryptocurrencies also are like what define the performance of crypto wallets. And like most common choice among available wallets is MetaMask, and I think one of the best highlights about it is that you can access it as a browser extension, and it enables easy access to various NFT marketplaces within just a few clicks. However, with gas fees being so painfully expensive on the Ethereum network, I'd like to put special emphasis on the new players such as Polygon and like the Polygon and Solana network, which I think like reduce advantages of reduced costs and better transaction speeds. And I think Polygon is like a top entry among renowned blockchains platforms for developing new digital assets and economies. And it has been tailored for offering interoperability within the new layer 2 solutions. And it has a promising advantage of being transaction speed. So I would tend to recommend Alpha Wallet more, use those networks aside from Ethereum.
Interesting. Yeah, thank you. It seems like some of the platforms are making moves towards Polygon. The Decentraland, I don't know where they're at right now, but I know they've done some transitioning to the Polygon network. But a lot of the wearables have already been issued on Ethereum. So I'm not sure how that works transferring over, but I think I agree in the future. We can't have a $30 transaction fee, you know, every time we buy something. So something we'll need to adjust. I want to let the audience know that all the speakers and active participants during this session will get an NFT with exclusive access to the Connect Club private Discord after the event. Please send your Ethereum wallet address to get your NFT. To send your Ethereum wallet to receive an NFT, go to the main menu on the left bottom corner and click on the question sign in the right bottom corner. There you can send your ETH address to the support chat to get an NFT and access to the Connect Club private Discord. Okay, we're going to move on to question 3. And we've kind of already gone into this a little bit, but let's go into it more. Wearables are one of the easiest consumer goods in the metaverse to discuss right now because they're available and usable on platforms like Decentraland and CryptoVoxel. What does Web3 mean for fashion and lifestyle goods, and how do brands protect their products in the digital space? We've already gone into this a little bit, but let's go deeper. So Anne, you're in fashion. Give us your take on wearables and what you saw in Decentraland Fashion Week and all of that.
Yeah. So for the brands, this is really going to be a paradigm shift, because most of the brands are used to creating collections that are seasonal. And when they're starting to create digital goods, they suddenly have to think, wait, this good might live on forever. What does that mean? And how do I continue to make it relevant for a long time to come? So the whole design ethos and the way that they, you know, hone in on their creativity from a like perpetual going to change. Brands, especially luxury brands, also really want to have very clear control over the where the brand gets shown and how it gets shown. And that is probably what they're going to struggle with the most. How to make sure that digital goods line up that you as much as possible and empower, you cannot go into tarnished. And so there's going to be a lot of exploration, but there's also a lot of legal implications that the brands actually have to as they move into the space, especially as they start to conduct partnerships with, you know, maybe not on the crypto side, but like with games, etc. There's a lot that the brands don't know, and it's like in this unknown space for them. So they a lot of learning that has to come from them. Really, like, how do you design for it? How do you continue to market it? And yeah, making sure that they remain, that it's still aspirational.
Interesting. Yeah, you know, I never took the perspective of seasonal versus fashion goods that live forever. I'm not a designer, obviously, but yeah, that brings in a huge new aspect. This needs to be relevant forever. Good luck with that.
Forever is incredible. I played League of Legends, the season 1. I played Habbo, the season 1, Habotel, and I don't have anything. And I invested on that. I lost my user. I lost. They deleted everything, and it was like, mates, I invested on you. Where is my things? Where am I bought? So this is really the game changer. I don't know my grandfather's or my mom's grandfather's experiences. I know what my mom or father. So, for example, when I buy an NFT and I hold it forever, my NFT, and I don't want to sell it, my humans can know what I did and who I am. That's something super powerful. And living in the digital space, that is the metaverse, we know that this is bullish, this is bullish, and this is going to be super huge, and everyone will be here in less than 5 years or less. This is super powerful, and I love the idea of living that NFT living is the most powerful thing. I wanted to add that part.
Yes, no, I couldn't agree more. Gaming, because you know, gaming assets are a huge part of this. Even more so than fashion right now. They've been taking over NFTs as a gaming asset that you can keep, right, and doesn't get lost or sold when the game ends. It is huge for commerce in the metaverse. So let's take that to Timothy. Web3, what does it mean for consumers, gaming, NFTs, weapons and skins that can live forever?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to mention Tano mentioned, you know, kind of future generations, you know, having the opportunity to see what you wore. That's daunting to me, because if I am wearing a Speedo, you know, fitting in a beach in the metaverse, I definitely don't want future generations to see that. But hopefully, no, it's fascinating. I think he's absolutely correct. I mean, what you wear, you know, is your identity. You know, it's your way to express yourself. And I think that's with regards to gaming, and to answer the question, you know, that's the most fascinating, you know, wearables. You know, they've I think, especially with gamers, you know, it used to be where, you know, your weapons and your skins and wearables, I guess, maybe can be interchangeable, but weapons has been, you know, has been the most important part. But I think that's changing. And so, you know, in Ready Player One movie, I always reference that. I know it's probably cliche, but that I think gave us just a little glimpse of what's possible, in a metaverse, fully customizable wardrobe. And so it's exciting. I think, non-gamers, and actually, I think even, for creators, Anne mentioned a lot around brands. It's going to be interesting to see how brands will be able to, adapt or adopt, this creator community that is going to be extremely strong and present in the metaverse. Individual designers, how do those, those two worlds work together? I think that's going to be especially interesting.
Thank you. Okay, so since we've taken this to gaming, let's go to Robbie. Yep. What's NFTs and gaming have huge, right? Explosive, and they make technology. Last month is past tense. So what's commerce and gaming and looking forward to?
So I think we're kind of at the beginning of a very long trajectory where, in our opinion, games are generally all headed in the direction of Web3 and blockchain. So, I think we'll look back on this time 5 years from now and be like, oh, well, remember when games didn't have blockchain on them, and we'll all laugh and think that was crazy that you didn't actually own anything in a game, but you paid for it anyway. And so I think it's just, we're at the beginning of that trajectory now, and we're starting to see more and more games come out, employing tokenomics inside and NFTs as playable objects. And I think that we're seeing not just Web3 native businesses, but we're seeing big Web2 game companies now moving into the space. And we're also seeing a lot of individuals, leaving Web2 companies to start their own Web3 focused game businesses and studios because perhaps, their existing employer is not making the pivot fast enough for them, and they have ideas and want to jump into the space themselves. So I think we're seeing a lot of momentum. And this year, the sheer number of titles that are going to come out will absolutely dwarf last year. I think we're seeing exponential growth on that front. So I'm very excited. I mean, we're coming out with as many titles as we possibly can, but I think you're literally going to be seeing dozens of titles that really show off the benefits of ownership and what that means in an environment that is both fun as well as has exciting aspects of what blockchain can do, whether it's, staking and DeFi mechanics or just the benefits of ownership.
Yes, and I couldn't agree more. I know, I'm in the networking group, Tokyo, and there's a lot of emphasis on Web3 gaming right now. And I know Animoca is one of those brands there, where when a game is sponsored, eyes sort of turn toward it. But NFTs and gaming are something that is going to be explosive, especially as the Web2 games make the transition. And I completely agree with you. They can't ignore it, or I think they'll be left behind. Layla, what's your take on all this? Gaming, wearables, commerce?
Yeah, I think while the metaverse actually provides amazing opportunities for brands across like a wide variety of audiences, and it provides such a nice platform for transitioning brands and gaming, etc. But I'd like to tie back to the question which you asked concerning how brands can protect their IPs and themselves. And I think that the metaverse will raise many new IP issues. For example, Hermes, like Hermes, I don't know, filed a lawsuit against an artist selling Meta Birkins as NFTs. And Hermes will need to provide its trademark for leather goods, which extends to expressive images based on their leather goods. So since today, I think the different virtual worlds are operating like locked rooms controlled by single entities, which I think users cannot switch easily in between. Therefore, for any entity which wants to step into the metaverse, I think they need to establish clear IP licensing arrangements with the metaverse platform provider before they actually transition. So, yeah. Interesting.
Thank you. Let's wrap this question up with Igor. What will users see in terms of commerce from Connect.Club? Like, what's it going to be like buying stuff in Connect.Club? I know there's an NFT room in all of these places. What can we expect?
how I can see three different groups. It's first one, it is art. Like, for example, our customers like to create their own rooms. Yeah, and the rooms can be NFTs, and they can be stuff for market, or like for selling or buying. And somebody like to show their NFTs from other places, like in galleries, making galleries with their own NFTs, and it's kind of stuff for selling or buying too. Second group, it is like utilities NFTs for clubs, like membership NFTs, so kind of key to make or even for any community stuff, or like for voting, for making community really decentralized and ruled by communities. And third group, it is like, for me it's most new. It is NFTs as part of profile, like it is like achievements, yeah, and like NFTs from this event, yeah. Like we was an event with these guys together, and a big question about transfer these NFTs, because it's a possibility to transfer part of your profile, but it's groups what will be useful for future, I think, and they really believe it, like social profile in a wallet can be part of our future.
Interesting. Yes. Ownerships over identities is another new hot topic, but I think it's something that we all need to figure out and learn how to incorporate that. Let's move on to our last question. We know Decentraland still leads the way in terms of market cap on open world virtual platforms, but what platforms have you explored? What are you interested in? What do you hope to see from metaverse platforms in the future? Let's just open this one up. How about Robbie? Let's hear from you first.
So I think the most important thing, about being a metaverse and why you're a metaverse and not just a game, is interoperability. So I think the key is that we see these platforms, adhere to certain standards of openness and cross-chain compatibility, etc., to be open to as many users as possible. And I think that's really important, because the more that we can take these individual metaverse projects and connect them together, the more powerful the communities will be once they can connect with each other.
I couldn't agree more. Having there's all these battles going on about metaverse platforms wanting to be, the best or the one, but I think having multiple platforms that can connect, and we can teleport to one another. I can go into Decentraland and teleport to some, Animoca Brands game, or I can go to the Sandbox and teleport to some other game that I want to play. I think that sort of interconnection, just like the internet within the metaverse, is going to be important. Tano.
Yeah, I have something to add. That's absolutely the future of the metaverse, interoperability. Right now, we from user world can read wallets and translate this wallet to our own 3D, or import from their NFTs the 3D object and bring it to our world. Or maybe us as a product placement creators of digital fashion, onboarding creators for easy and non-friction integration, we can onboard people to Sandbox and Decentraland. So like everyone will be hyper connected, because we need it. It's super beautiful, because wallet solved a big problem that was this part of integration between 3D objects, my engine, your engine. It's like everything, it's so disconnected in the Web 2. And right now, that's why Metaverse is uploading, it's evolving to the Web 3, because add this next layer of interoperability, it's quite obvious and super beautiful, and I love to integrate to every world around us. Also, I try to do with Fortnite, but seems like more easy to integrate with Sandbox and Decentraland.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Good luck
prepare for
with
that.
Fortnite.
Fortnite is not prepared. That's the part. That's the thing. They're not prepared, even if they want.
Timothy, what's your take? Give us the future of the metaverse.
Okay. And
yeah, no,
sorry. Go.
Oh no, yeah, I was just gonna say, you know, I'm just happy to hear interoperability, you know, be you know the theme here. It's gonna what's interesting is coming from, you know, Web 2 and kind of, you know, the traditional gaming world, I guess. There, you know, competition and being competitive it's all, you know, especially with marketing and acquisition. I mean, you're you know, programmed to compete heavily with folks who are building, you know, the same game that you are. So I'm really hopeful, and that's, you know, I think what Tano just mentioned with Fortnite is probably indicatively, I think with some of the native metaverse, it's those ability. And what I think it's going to take is two things, actually. It's going to take the community to really demand interoperability. It's going to take the community to say, hey, look, I've purchased this NFT, you know, skin or weapon, and I want to be able to use it anywhere. And so I think it's really going to take that, and then also it'll probably take data. It'll take insights and data to show some of the companies that you're not going to lose out. You're going to actually gain with interoperability. And so I think it's hopefully, you know, that those two pieces will help move us all forward.
I hope so. I hope everyone kind of comes together and helps each other grow rather than trying to knock out the competition on this one. Layla, give us your take. Future of the metaverse.
Yeah, so I think right now we have like the big major players such as Decentraland and Sandbox out there competing against each other, and they're so huge, each and every one of them, that they're literally closed entire microeconomies with their own currencies and ecosystems. And what I hope is that as the metaverse matures, we are going to be able to transfer easily wearables between the different platforms and metaverses, and kind of connect with each other and collaborate together, and transact much easier in and out of the platforms with even fiat currency to be able to interact with the physical world even. But yeah, that's my take pretty much.
Yeah. No, and it's an important one too, because it's something that not everybody understands if you've never been in some of these platforms. If I go into Decentraland and, you know, I drop $200 on some wearable or a big crazy hat or something, I want to be able to take that and go into another metaverse platform. I don't want it to be limited to Decentraland, right? And right now it sort of is, but there's new platforms that are building to make that possible. So interoperability is going to be huge, or else what's the point of NFTs if I can't take it and use it somewhere else? So I agree completely. Anne, let's get you. Future of the metaverse.
Yeah. So the concept of interoperability is actually really interesting also from a brand or a creator point of view, because do you need to create then special, like, separate pipelines for every single, like, use case or every single platform that you want your digital good to live? When it comes to, like, bigger brands and even fashion brands, like, having to create all these separate pipelines, that's investment. And that's an investment, not just like physically in the technologies that you need to render all these things out, but also in the people, like, knowing to what specs to create something. Like, that's a big milestone or hurdle even. So I think that is really fascinating. Overall, I really like what Layla said on, like, the link to physical. I think there's one of my favorite concepts, and I'm derailing a little, so please do forgive me, but one of my favorite concepts that keeps sticking in my mind is this idea of, yes, if digital goods live on forever, what could that mean for the physical space? So imagine if you had a garment, and the moment that you buy it, you wear it, but you resell it. Imagine that the moment that you resell it to someone else, the original creators of that garment get royalties. Even like fabric mills, the person that resells it, the brand, the factory that stitched that garment together. What if you could use, like, Web3 concepts and actually allow garments, physical garments, to live longer and incentivize people to be able to wear, you know, first of all, create better goods, but also wear them longer, and if you don't wear them, resell them. And so for me, the future is very much like, how does everything that happens in the Web3 space, how could we also use it and bring it back to the physical creation and make that better for the future?
Interesting. Yeah. And the royalties concept was not brought up yet, but it's something that should be talked about and ways to empower creators. Go ahead.
Royalties is the most powerful thing also, not because it's something that's happening to us right now. We're partnering with creators to build their creations, and it's like OpenSea, like, it's not prepared for split royalties, so we had to do some little tricks. But in terms of the part of the royalty is one of the most powerful things, because right now on Web2 we don't have royalties. Everything goes to the next buyer, and the digital creator loses that earnings, and that's something that is not less and super powerful. And in terms for me, I couldn't finish. The future of metaverse is interoperability, focus on onboarding the non-native people that will rule, like centennials, millennials, and I think it's easier to onboard to the augmented reality part technology of the metaverse, because augmented reality is here. I'm right now connecting through the cell phone, and when I go away from my house, I will bring my cell phone. I don't bring my VR, or I don't bring my desktop. So I think that the moment of connection will be more focused on augmented reality. The metaverse will be mainstream from that side, because everyone have a cell phone, but not everyone have a VR or a desktop. So that's my thought about the future of the metaverse.
Okay, all right, thank you. Our Q&A is going to be next. Does anyone have anything to add before we go on to the Q&A? Okay. All right, so we're going to start our Q&A session. Members of the audience are welcome to network with others in the audience during this time. One by one, we'll invite audience members to come up to the stage and ask questions of the panelists. While we're doing that, everyone is welcome to chat with one another, spread around the room and network. And the networking zone is the beige floor and blue chairs, where you can hear the stage and people in your radar zone, which is the white circle that's around you. There's also a quiet zone outside by the pool and in the grass. There you cannot hear the stage and just hear the people in your radar. All right, looks like we have someone on the stage.
Hello. First of all, I just want to say you are doing an amazing job at hosting. And this is such an amazing conversation. And I really love thinking, right? Like, I never sit and actually ask myself, what is the future of the metaverse, right? Like, I'm always working in it, but I never stop and actually think, where is this going? You know, so these are such great questions. And I want to thank, first of all, Igor of Connect.Club. Igor means so much to me because I've been on this platform since the beginning, and the changes of the updates, right, has been so amazing with the skins, with the backgrounds of the skins. And my question to you guys is, this is how I feel. I feel like with us users, it's almost like times are moving extremely fast, and we're like babies that if you drop the pacifier out the mouth, the baby cries. And that if we don't have new features almost every day at this point, you lose your audience very quickly. That we need gamification almost every day at this point. It has to be constantly satisfying. There's a psychological something behind it with this gamification. Like it before, it used to be maybe every month, right? Now, and then maybe it was like every 2 weeks. Now it seems like, if not every week, if not every day, we have to keep building, us users. If we're not building, we lose our minds. Like, we have to keep building and minting, and that's how you keep your audience, your users on your platform, whether it's, you know, metaverse or, you know, Web 2.5. Do you guys agree? Or what is your perspective on that, pacifying us gamers?
Absolutely. Building is everything, and the only thing that matters. Everything else is a good idea. That's my thought. And we're always evolving. Also because we don't know anything about the metaverse and we don't know anything about the Web3 and where is this going. So it's like, it's everything an experiment, and we're trying to figure out how to look for adapt quickly to what the user want or the community.
That's why I want to thank Igor, because I says, man, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, but this ain't a business I'm trying to build. Not in this time. This is hard work, guys. This is hard work. Satisfying users in a time like this with constant need of gratification and to be satisfied. To satisfy people like us is very hard. It's very hard. It's a demand. It's needy and it's a demand. And wow, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Do we have any more questions from the audience? You can just hop on stage. There we go.
Hi, guys. Firstly, I want to thank everybody on the stage. Amazing presentation. Now, and based on answers that you had before regarding number one, onboarding, and number two, like the physical connection. I'm seeing, obviously, in terms of the metaverse, we're the fortunate, like, maybe 2-3%, who know what's happening in that space. From a perspective of bringing on let's say the mainstream, and I'll touch base, like, for example, on the wearables, the fashion. What are your thoughts in terms of, I know the term phygital, right? Like from a digital to the physical. But do you foresee a place where you have like boutiques, or having like let's say like a Samsung LED connected to their boutique in the metaverse, so they can slowly attract real customers, showcasing what they have in the metaverse, and slowly doing like a reverse type of phygital. This is Ron. I'm complete.
Anyone can take that one.
I mean, one thing I think what Ron mentioned is interesting is, what is it going to take for the brands to see the real true potential? And I do think it'll, at first, and we discussed this at the beginning of the chat, was the brands are gonna probably go through this adoption, this evolution, and it's gonna be down to, is this gonna be a viable revenue stream for them? And I think it absolutely will be. And in fact, if it's not purchasing in the metaverse, either physical or digital, maybe it's that brand exposure that is necessary. And that's why I think a lot of brands are, maybe the more progressive brands are, getting into Decentraland and Sandbox. And so I think, what Ron mentioned is going to be interesting. Are there going to be, kiosks? What does that look like? I think it's just to be determined. I do want to just also mention, Sarah, thank you. The moderation has been exceptional, and timing, everything has been great. And so I just want to make sure I mention that as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, we have a couple more on the bottom of the stage. You guys have some more questions? Hop on up.
Yeah, I had a question. How y'all doing?
Hi.
Appreciate y'all for the knowledge. Do any of y'all have any like open beta platforms or anything for any gamers to kind of participate in now?
Tano, you guys in open beta yet?
Sorry, trying to see where was the mic. Yes, we are on closed beta. The launch is 20th of May, and it will be only for verified creators. For verifying yourself, we have to do a interview before to know your feelings, your thoughts about the future, what do you think, what you're gonna do with this. And we are gonna open the beta after validations and more interviews and research. Like, we hope to onboard creators the easier and better possible, but we don't need 1 million right now. We need 5 per week and build the perfect user experience for them. And after that, we can open. Also because building on Web3 is not cheap, it's not easy, and you have to really be smart on the movements. That's the difficult part on building. So you only need 5 people per week. So that's all. But of course, our user engagement is, and the user monthly recurrent users is 30 person. Of course, you can do a lot of on that side, but when you talk about closed beta, you talk about real money, and we talk about real money, you have to be really perfect, the most possible straight line. That's all.
Awesome.
Thank
Yeah, and I do work with Cradles.io too. They're also doing open beta testing of their mini game No Fishing. I'm sure there's a ton of open beta tests going in some of the games that Animoca invests in, but I don't know them personally. Any other questions? Yes.
Hi, first of all, I would just like to thank you all because that was amazing and amazing moderation. And Igor, always I love this app. I love this app so much. I love it. I found wearables, and I came in this understanding of wearables and seeing the possibility of doing a lot of onboarding, and we were onboarding and we were doing a lot of Polygon onboarding and teaching through that channel. And I really kind of the royalty, the crypto and this other stuff, stamps, and all of it. And through it all, and a lot of events, and there's a lot of people here that know that we threw out a bunch of events, just completely not knowing anything, guerrilla, no marketing, right? And we brought a lot of people to the party, and we also opened up a lot of wallets, and we brought a lot of possibility of the future, depending on being able to mass adopt the understanding of things, right? So do you see more brands just realizing the potential and working with artists and working with people in this space that come in and kind of make this hybrid possibility? And if you understand, that 10% could be really written as smart contracts, so even if platforms don't go down and all this other stuff, but once they really get it, and maybe pass on limited editions and things like that to people coming in and doing these events, do you see that mass adoption of that could happen going this direction?
All right, who wants to take that one? Anne, Layla, wearables and mass adoption.
Yeah, no, I'm super happy to take it. I do think it's a probability for sure. It's just I see a lot of these brands from the inside, and there's a lot of learning that still needs to happen before they're able to really do these things in a proper way. Luckily, there's a lot of great agencies out there that know their stuff and that can help these brands on board. They're like an on-ramp for many fashion and luxury brands, but I think collaborations is absolutely going to be the way forward. You see brands like Gucci doing a lot of these things right now, and doing it in a super authentic way. More and more you're going to see this, and especially with this idea of empowering a community and empowering creators in ways, not just in the digital side, but you could even make a case for physical. So what if we have a digital creator that would actually like to produce their goods, but they don't have an entire supply chain or context of factories and mills and whatnot? I've seen some really interesting models start to come up where brands can open up their supply chains to creators to just produce. And so the potential and the creative potential for a lot of these kind of collaborations, aside from how to do it technology wise, but just I think in terms of creativity, there's a lot of great stuff that we could see in the coming years.
Thank you. Okay, I think we have a few more questions, but before we go that, just in respect of our speakers' time, we have scheduled them till 9, or I'm sorry, I don't know what time zone you're in, but the time that we have scheduled them is over. So if any of our speakers do need to hop out and get to more of their busy day, please feel free to do so at any time. And then we can leave this open for a few more minutes for Q&A for anyone that can stay. All right, we have someone on the stage.
But thank you.
Okay, good.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Check out if you have to
Thank you,
go.
Robin.
Thank you so
Thanks for
much.
me.
It's a pleasure.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. See you on LinkedIn. Connect.
Bye bye.
Thank
See
you.
you. Ciao, ciao. Saludos from Argentina. Ciao, ciao.
Come back.
I'm sorry. We had to let them go. I think it was a time's up, and I could see the fingers ticking. But we appreciate everyone for coming. I wonder, do we have an NFT room or any kind of room to go into after this, Ina?
No, you guys, you can just hang out here, or the new members, you can visit our welcome room for new members and find out more about Connect Club, or everybody's just welcome here to have a chat with each other, to meet each other. You can just click on the stage button, the yellow speaking head button, and join the